The Nigerian aviation industry plays a key role in the country's transportation system and overall economy. Over the years, it has had its ups and downs, with air passengers encountering numerous challenges, such as the delay or cancellation of scheduled flights and lost, stolen or delayed baggages. Although existing laws and regulations govern passengers' rights, key issues relate particularly to how much the passenger knows about his rights, the relevant laws and regulations. Well, I started by asking the Director of the Consumer Protection Department at the Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA, about those rights that accrue to passengers.
Aviation is an international business. There is nothing like Nigerian aviation. We are all under the purview of one umbrella, the International Civil Aviation Organizations. So therefore, in the case of baggage, for instance, that we are talking about, there is MC 99, that's the Montreal Convention of 1999, in which the government of Nigeria is a signatory. So therefore, all aspects of that convention now applies to aviation in Nigeria. In the same manner, issues of airworthiness of aircraft, issues of operations, how we operate on the aircraft, issues of crew and crew licensing in aircraft, everything is international. So therefore, in the same manner, this issue of consumer protection and the fact that you have to defend anybody that's a consumer of anything aviation services, not just the passenger, because what the NCA as the regulator does is have oversight over all the issues pertaining to aviation. So therefore, airlines come to us and report when service providers don't do the right thing. For instance, the baggage carousel, where you put baggage for passengers to pick, tear people's bags. The onus is on the airline to pay for bags whenever they are destroyed. So when such issues arise, the airline would now report the service provider, in this case Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, to NCAA, and we have to take it up. Issue of startup airlines, you give an aircraft startup, it goes to holding point, and then it waits 15-20 minutes before it takes up burning fuel. The airline reports to the CAA, and we call the air traffic services provider, NAMA, Nigeria Space Management Agency, to order. In the same manner, whenever we have issues between passengers and airlines now, that is the most common, that's the one that people know about, the fact that NCA has to come in whenever there are delays, there are cancellations of flights, whenever people buy their tickets, and somewhere along the line there is a break in communication between the airline and the passenger. We have to come in and mediate.
Let's look at why doesn't it appear to be the same if I walk into a domestic airport or perhaps an international airport, our international airport, Murtala Mohammed International Airport, and the processes that I go through is significantly different from if I walk into Heathrow, for example. Why is that?
The Murtala Mohammed International Airport is 40 years old. I hope you're aware of that. Of course, you don't expect good service from equipment that have been there for 40 years compared to brand new airports in Dubai, in Doha, wherever it is that you have been to, Singapore, things like that. But that's what we are working on now. There are a lot of terminals that are coming on stream. The Port Harcourt has just been commissioned, as you are aware. Abuja, Lagos and Kano are also coming on stream. Abuja is promised before the end of this year. So a lot of more comfort is coming to the passengers' way, because we would have brand new passengers that are built to accommodate more passengers. This time around, we have built terminals that will last a longer while, even though we really went docile, because over the last 40 years, all we have been doing was to compare Lagos and Schiphol. They were started at the same time. We did the first phase and we stopped there. Schiphol now has like 70 gates, while we are still fighting with the number that we have here, which is about 10, 12. Meanwhile, airports all over the world you go to, you find out that there is one development or the other going on at any given time. So you don't remain static, and you build airports for the future, because you envisage that there's always going to be a build-up in traffic.
So what's the highest complaint? What do you hear when passengers come and they have one complaint or the other?
Most times it has to do with delays, cancellation of flights.
And usually we hear operational delays.
Yeah, this issue of operational delays, the complaint is that the airline does not come out to tell them what is actually happening, that they tell them operational issues. Let me share some experiences. at a stage we were discussing with an airline, it delayed the flight for upwards of 3 hours. And because of that, some passengers did a group action and came, about 100 of them lodged a complaint against that airline. What happened really was that there was a VIP movement in the morning. That VIP movement, there was this event going on in Abuja. So therefore, whenever there is a head of state, not just our own head of state coming into land or take off, there is normally what we call VIP movement, the airspace is closed. So heads of governments and states were coming in regularly at that time. So therefore, there was a lot of closure of the airspace. That led to delays in the flights. The best that airline will say is due to operational reasons. And then there are also technical issues that airlines don't want to disclose to passengers. Apart from MMA2, where you can go, and maybe even international, where you can go to the glass and see what is actually happening to aircraft. Most of our airports, you don't see what is happening out there. Whenever there is a technical issue, even change of tire, and passengers witness it, I assure there are some of them that go and demand for a full refund of their ticket that they are not going to fly again. Another major issue is weather. Weather is a major factor in aviation, and we ensure and even encourage pilots not to take off when there is inclement weather, and make sure that they even delay, even cancel flights. We encourage them to do all that whenever the weather is bad, because you have to be safe before you start complaining of comfort.
Tell us about the procedures. Some people have said that there are some cumbersome procedures, especially when you're bringing a complaint against an airline, that complaints can be filed only at the Lagos office, and that is located where we are, Ikeja. And this is because maybe the other CPD branches, Consumer Protection Departments, in other states are non-functional. Is this true?
We have regional heads in all our regions. We have 5 regions in Nigeria: Kano, Kaduna, Abuja, Port Harcourt, and Lagos. All of them are regions. So we have regional heads for consumer protection in all these places. And then we have consumer complaint desks in all these airports, and we have staff that you can lodge your complaint to. But then, the first things first, whenever you have an issue with an airline, your first port of call is the airline itself. The regulations are very clear that airlines must have customer service desks where in whichever airport they operate into, and they must have dedicated customer service officers. So whenever you have issues, you report to the airline first. Whenever you come to us with a complaint, our first question is, have you reported to the airline? And we have to have evidence that you have reported to the airline. They have not been able to sort you out before we can now go ahead and resolve your issue. But then more importantly, these days of social media, we are there. We are on Twitter at CPD, NCAA. We are online.
And you respond, because CPD. I know a lot of people have a lot of issues. They put it out there on social media first.
We do respond. And whenever we have any issue, it's immediate that we get back to you, explain to you if it is something that that needs an explanation. And if it's something that has to be escalated, we escalate it. And let me tell you the scope of application of our regulations. Carriage of passengers between 2 airports within Nigeria. That's the first one. Second one, passengers from an airport outside Nigeria to an airport in Nigeria, unless the passengers received compensation or assistance at the point of departure in the other country before coming in here. Then non-stop flight segments originating at a point in Nigeria, international carriage, that's it. That's international carriage. So these flight segments that originate out of this place, so all the airlines that operate into Nigeria, all the international airlines, at the point of signing the BASA, Bilateral Air Services Agreement, also agree that they have to abide by the rules and regulations of Nigeria. So these regulations that we have here on consumer protection are binding on them. In the year 2010, 2011, 2012, we were recording something in the region of 60,000 complaints nationwide. 60,000. Yes, things have come down now because people have gotten more aware of the fact that we exist. So therefore, over last year, only 6,000, 5,000, 6,000 complaints were received.